So for this assignment, Pixlr 00 shapes, we're just going to make some shapes and play around with the new Pixlr program. So it says download the shape once you've created it and add it to this assignment. So let's go see what we're supposed to make. So to start with, we're going to go to pixlr.com/e and create an account. If you need to watch this video on how to create an account, go for it. But we're going to go to pixlr.com/e. And up here at the top, we're going to click the sign in, login, sign in with Google. And once you're signed in, your name will be up here at the top. So what we're looking for is this create new. Now, if for some reason you've gone over to the templates and you've been looking at other things, just to get back here, it's home. And we're going to create a new assignment. Let's go with this thumbnail size of a 720p, 720 pixels. And here's what I want you to name it. 00 shapes. I would like your initials on it, but most of you don't do that anyways. But I would like for your initials to be on it. If you have this background button here, we want to turn on for a background. If you don't see it, that's okay. But just if you can see the background button, turn it on and we'll deal with that in a little while. So for now, click the create button. And congratulations, you've made a blank image with a white background layer. If yours has got the checkerboard, don't worry about it. So this is called layer 1. We're going to rename it background. So over on the right here, 2 fingers to right click, 2 fingers to right click, and rename this background. We're going to name it background. So nothing's going to really go on this layer. It's just the background. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start adding some shapes. So let's look for this one here. It's called shapes. Click on it. And notice up here at the top, we have a rectangle shape currently selected. I would like for you to draw a rectangle. How big? About that big. And then fill it with any shade of green you like. Do I care which shade of green you pick? No, just any shade of green you like. So all we've done so far is add a rectangle and we filled it with the color of green. So let's rename this instead of calling it shape 2 because we're going to have several layers. Let's make sure we know that this one is the rectangle. So I'm going to again right click and rename the shape rectangle. And yes, the ads are annoying. That's what happens when you use a free program. So right now my shape is selected. I'm going to click off of it. So I'm just going to click this little arrange tool just to click off of it so it's no longer selected. If you mess up, that's okay. You can always undo. If you mess up, again, Control Z is your friend to undo. So again, I'm going to go back to shapes. Instead of rectangle this time, let's go make a circle. Actually, we're going to make an oval. I want your oval to be tall and skinny, taller than the rectangle. Taller than the rectangle. And fill it with some shade of red or orange. Do I care what you go with? No, just fill it with a shade of red or orange. So fill with a shade of red or orange. I know mine looks kind of pink. And let's rename this layer. Right now it says shape 3. I need you to rename it oval. And then click off of it so the name sticks. So again, we have a background layer, we have a rectangle shape, and we have an oval. Let's go add another shape. So still on the shapes, up here at the top, let's click custom. Now, what you notice is it changed this to a rectangle. So if it does that to you, like mine did, we don't want that. We want to undo it. So edit, undo. We want this back to an oval. So I'm going to click off of it. Now I'm going to go to custom. So again, I clicked off of it. Now I'm going to custom shape. Now when I do that, we've got all these different unique shapes, and there's a lot of them here. You don't really need to scroll far. What we're looking for is this one right here. It's like a puff. So we're going to grab that shape, and now when I start dragging, it makes this puff. Please fill it with a shade of blue. Which blue? I don't care. Just as long as it's a shade of blue so I can talk about it easier. That makes my life easier. Thank you. So it's some sort of shade of blue. So again, we have a rectangle, an oval, and this is a shape. I'm going to rename it. So again, 2 fingers to right click to rename it. And we're going to call it puff because it looks like a puff. Click off of it so it's no longer selected. And then I would highly, highly recommend click this arrange tool. Arrange is like the select all tool. Arrange is like the select all tool. So I'm going to scoot you out of the way. So here's your job. Your job is to take the rectangle and center it on this drawing. So that purple line that shows up right there, that tells me it's centered. And I'm going to scoot down just a little bit so I know that it's centered completely on the screen. So when I get both purple crosshairs, it's centered on the screen. Grab your oval and stick it in the center also. Now what I'd actually like is for that oval to go behind the rectangle. I'd like that oval to go behind the rectangle. So I've seen people try to right click and that doesn't change things around. Maybe come up to layer. That could, but I might not want to mess things up. Let's just make it easier. So over here on the right, these layers, I'm going to grab the rectangle layer and drag it on top of the oval. Now it's on top. I'm going to grab the puff and stick it on here. Again, I could grab that rectangle layer and stick it on top of the puff. You don't want to see the puff. So I do want the puff, but I just kind of want it to look more like that. So I'm going to pause here for a moment. And I'd like you to add 2 more shapes, any color you want, to this center area here. Play around with them. I don't care how you fix them. Just add 2 more shapes to that center area. Remember to add the shapes. You're going to need to change it to the shape tool and choose shapes. So I'm going to be honest, I don't know what I made, but I was having fun, so it's okay. So again, you were supposed to add 2 more shapes. I added some more ovals and a rectangle. I have no idea what I'm making. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add some text. So over here on the left, that's the T for text tool. Click on the T for text tool and then just click. And it's going to say, hey, do you want to add a new layer of text? Why, yes, I do. Go ahead and click the add button. Lorem ipsum, that's just generic text. Just go ahead and type the following. This is my text. And we can select the text. We can fill it with a color. What color? I don't care. Fill it with the color that makes it easy to visibly see. Fill it with the color that makes it easy to see. There's my font. I can make it bigger. And while you're selected, go ahead and change the font. Pick something else that looks good. Do I care which one you pick? Nope. Once you're done, go ahead and make it a little more narrow. And again, once it looks like the forward arrow, grab it and drag it. Move it around. Do I care where you put it? No. It can be here. It can be in the middle. Miss Lee, can I change what I write? Absolutely. So I just want you to move the text. This is my text. I just want you to play around with it, move it. If you go back to that text, you can still edit it. So rename it your name. Again, move it around so where you like it. You might want to change the font color or not. That's up to you. Now, typically, it's going to rename that layer to whatever you type. So if you type, this is my text, it's going to be called, this is my text. That makes it a lot easier when you need to move things around. All right, I need you to add 1 more layer of text. And it's going to ask, do you want to add a new layer? Yes. Call this Pixlr 00. By the way, there is no E in Pixlr. Pixlr 00. Grab it, drag it to the top. Change the color so it's actually visible. Do I care what color you pick? Nope, just making sure it's a color that's visible. And there we go. If we're done making changes, again, you can always make this text box a little smaller so it's not so wide. It doesn't need to be that wide. And grab it and drag it, make sure it's centered. And then we're going to save it. So hit the save button. For now, we don't need a high quality. Let's just go with medium quality. I'm going with the JPEG, medium quality JPEG. Hit save as. It's going to ask you what you want to name it. So again, make sure it's got the 00 shapes and your initials in it. 00 shapes and your initials in it. And hit that save button. Don't worry about the ads. Again, we're going with the free version. We're going to deal with ads, sorry. Back to the assignment in Google Classroom. Add from Drive. It should be in your recents. And mark it's done. And turn it in. And that's it for this portion of the assignment.